All right, week one is in the books for the 2025 season, and it's time to update my top 25. First things first, we got to remove some teams. Alabama, let's put you next to some of these teams over here. That's where you belong. You're not a top 25 team. I had them at number 5. Let's see, Baylor, losing to Auburn. You're not a top 25 team. Let's put you over there. Kansas State. Almost losing to an FCS school. Not even a good FCS school. North Dakota. You're not top 25. You already lost a game too. And then Boise State. Getting blown out 34-7 to South Florida. Also not a top 25 team. I had them at 22. I think everybody else is okay to stay. We'll see. A lot of teams up here lost though. Let's see. I had Penn State at 1 going into the season. They beat Nevada 44-11. Texas and Ohio State played. Ohio State won. Should I move Ohio State to 1? Penn State didn't really do enough to have me remove them from 1. But we're going to move Texas over here for now. They're definitely a top 25 team. But Ohio State moves to the 2 spot. And then number 3, I've got to go with LSU. Their defense was amazing. Offense wasn't that good, but Clemson has a good defense, so we haven't seen a LSU defense be that good in quite some time. So I think they're deserving of the number 3 spot. And Notre Dame's another team that lost, so we'll move them down here for now. They're a top 25 team, unlike Alabama. Let's see, number 6, Clemson, also lost. Are they a top 25 team? They should be. Then we got Oregon and Georgia. Moving Oregon up to number 4. They beat a FCS team, Montana State 59-13. A good FCS team. Last year they struggled against Idaho in that first game. And then we've got Georgia, who beat Marshall 45-7. I'm pretty low on Georgia this year. I'm a little bit biased because I'm a Georgia Tech fan, but the way some of these other SEC teams played, like Texas and Alabama, I might be wrong about Georgia. I think Georgia's probably a playoff team based off of week 1. Might be overreacting still, but that's definitely my top 5. Penn State, Ohio State, LSU, Oregon, and Georgia. Who do I have at number 6? Oh, team I was really low on compared to most people. I was wrong. Miami, I had you at 19. You're moving up to 6. They looked really good. A lot better than I thought they looked. I didn't think they were going to beat Notre Dame. Carson Beck was amazing. Offensive line was amazing. They beat a really good Notre Dame team. 7, 8, and 9 are the 3 teams that lost top 10 matchups. Got Notre Dame. Where did I put Texas? Notre Dame at 7, Texas at 8, and Clemson at 9. And the only reason I really have them in that order is because I think Notre Dame can turn it around the easiest. CJ Carr played his first game. He wasn't terrible. The running game was surprisingly bad. Jeremiah Love only had like 33 yards on the ground. They've got to fix that. I think they will. I think they'll bounce back. They'll probably win their next 10 or 11 games. And we've got Texas. Arch Manning was a huge disappointment. I'm not really too concerned with them. I still think they'll make the playoffs. Will they beat Georgia? Will they beat... yeah, they're better than Alabama, but are they better than Georgia? I don't know. Clemson at number 9. They were the most disappointing out of these three teams. They couldn't run the ball whatsoever. Had to convert a wide receiver to running back. Still couldn't really run the ball. Cade Klubnik was terrible. Hopefully he turns it around. And then 10, Illinois. I'm leaving them at 10. They beat Western Illinois like 48-3 or something like that. Blew the brakes off of them. They returned a lot of people from a lot of players from last year on a 10-win season. So I think they deserve to stay at number 10. Down here at 11. Let's see, what did I write down for number 11? I'm going to have Iowa State jump up to 11. They're 2-0. They beat a Kansas State team, but didn't really look that good last week. That win doesn't look as good. But they beat the brakes off of a good FCS team, South Dakota, 55-7. Impressive win for the Cyclones. Number 12. That's where I put Arizona State. Arizona State, I mean, they beat Northern Arizona. They didn't really pull away. That's something Michigan didn't do as well from New Mexico. Two teams that you would have liked to see the score be a little bit different. You know, you would have liked to see them have bigger leads. You know, both teams dominated, you know, the whole game really, but you know, Arizona State only beating Northern Arizona, I think 38-19. Michigan only beating New Mexico 34-17. Bryce Underwood looks like he has a lot of potential. I really liked some of what I saw from him, but score-wise, very disappointed. We'll see how they do this next upcoming game against Oklahoma. And let's see, 14. Got Texas A&M. They played UTSA, a really good American team. Could be a group of 5 contender. Took them a little while to pull away from them as well, but they played a much better opponent than Michigan and Arizona State. At 15, got Texas Tech. They blew the brakes off of Arkansas Pine Bluff. Now, Arkansas Pine Bluff is nothing to write home about, but it was like 47-7. There was like a rain delay. They only played like 8-minute quarters in the second half. Still beat them by 60. A very impressive win by Texas Tech. Let's see, 16. 16, I'm just going to move South Carolina up to 16. They played Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech played pretty well against them. Not that South Carolina played terrible, but, you know, Lenore Sellers looked amazing, especially on that first drive. I know he's getting a lot of Heisman buzz. We'll see how that plays out for them this year. But, you know, impressive win against Virginia Tech team that may be better than people are giving them credit for. And 17, we've got the other team that goes by USC. Southern Cal, they beat the brakes off of Missouri State by 60. Again, not an impressive team that they beat, but, you know, you beat a team by 60. That is impressive no matter who it is. 18, I do have Indiana. Now, they were a little bit disappointing, you know, only beating Old Dominion by 13 points. They were in control of that whole game. Old Dominion could be a sneaky team in the Sun Belt too. 19, I have a team that I did not have in my preseason top 25. Let's see, where are they? And they could be higher. Utah Utes, they absolutely destroyed UCLA. You know, they probably should be higher, but I didn't have them ranked. And, yeah, I think UCLA isn't really that good anyways, but they absolutely embarrassed UCLA. And to round out my top 20, let's see. A team that I did not expect to be in my top 20. Also a team I did not. Well, Utah, maybe I expected them to crawl in there, but this team, Florida State, big win over Alabama. You know, a lot of this, week one reaction, you're not really sure if you're overreacting to a team that wins or a team that loses. Am I overreacting by not putting Alabama in my top 25? Am I overreacting by putting Florida State in my top 25? Is Florida State really they looked really good against Alabama. And, they completely embarrassed Alabama, which is why I don't have Alabama in my top 25. And they won't be in my top 25 for a while unless they beat Georgia in, I think, week 4 or week 5. They looked absolutely terrible against Florida State, sorry. And let's see. 5 spots left, 21. I've got Louisville. They didn't really play anybody, but they destroyed whatever team they played. I can't even remember. I think it was an FCS team. Not really much to talk about there. They did what they were supposed to do. Number 22, I've got my Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Man, Colorado was terrible. Georgia Tech, 3 turnovers on the first 3 drives. And they still somehow had the lead by halftime. That's how bad Colorado football is this year. Georgia Tech, Haynes King ran for like 150-something yards. They ran over 300 yards as a whole. They're way better than Colorado. Are they as good as, some of these teams up here? I don't know. Should they be ranked? I don't know. I think I have them as number 22. I think they're in for a good season. They should be sleepers in the ACC, but they should have won that Colorado game by a lot more than they did, and that's been a trend for Georgia Tech in the first week of the season the past 2 years now. The score of the game has been a lot closer than the game would indicate. Georgia Tech destroyed Florida State on the field last year, only won by 3 points. Same thing happens this year. They pretty much destroyed Colorado, only won by 7 points. And you see I have Ole Miss at 25 there. They're moving up to 23. Ole Miss, they beat Georgia State like 63-3. Very impressive win. Typical for Lane Kiffin against out of conference teams. A really good win for Ole Miss. So they move up to 23. Then 24 and 25. Teams I didn't really expect to be up here this early. 24, I've got to go with the Kansas Jayhawks. And let's just do 25 while we're at it. A team that they're about to face, the Missouri Tigers. Kansas 2-0. They haven't played anybody good. Well, they played Fresno State in week 0. Fresno State's usually a good team from the Mountain West. They destroyed them 31-7. Then they beat Wagner, an FCS school. And then Missouri. Who did Missouri even play? Can't remember off the top of my head right now. But they destroyed whoever they played, and they looked really good doing it. So that's my top 25 after week 1 of play. Penn State at 1, Ohio State 2, LSU 3, Oregon 4, Georgia 5, Miami 6, Notre Dame 7, Texas 8, Clemson 9, Illinois at 10, Iowa State 11, Arizona State 12, Michigan 13, Texas A&M 14, Texas Tech 15, South Carolina at 16, USC 17, Indiana 18, Utah 19, Florida State 20, Louisville 21, Georgia Tech 22, Ole Miss 23, Kansas at 24, and Missouri at 25. Now down here I've got a group of teams that I had just outside the top 25. Tennessee remains that way. They beat Syracuse by 19, a pretty good win for Tennessee. Oklahoma, they only beat Illinois State 35-3. Pitt, I think they scored a lot of points against whoever they played. I don't remember. SMU beat East Texas A&M. And then Iowa. I don't remember what Iowa did, but I think we have to move Florida. I think another group of teams up here. Florida and BYU are right outside my top 25. Both of those teams looked impressive. TCU, after what they did to North Carolina last night, they have to be in consideration for a top 25. Then South Florida. Who else looked really good? Maybe we put Auburn up there. I don't know. Navy. Let's go with Navy. And that's kind of my next 10 out. Tennessee, Oklahoma, Pittsburgh, SMU, Iowa. We got Navy, South Florida, TCU, BYU, Florida. No specific order. There could be a team that I'm forgetting about them. But yeah, that's my top 25 going into week 2 of this college football season.